Welcome to TBA, I'm Brad.
I'm Caitlin.
And this week's the last week of uni, so we've got a nice little sort of docile show. Try and fill your brains with a little bit of knowledge while you're all trying to cram for those exams. So first up, here's everything you need to know with News of the Week.
I'm Rachel, and this is your news for the week. North Korea's potential to launch missiles threatens the entire world, and tensions are now on the rise after it's revealed that they can detonate a devastating attack on Australia or the United States without using missiles. A cyber attack is now on the cards, which would target critical infrastructure such as an electricity grid. A Brisbane man has been stabbed to death on his own front lawn after he was lured out of his house overnight in a power outage. The 35-year-old's wife raised the alarm when she heard him being attacked outside. The police have closed the street of the crime, and it's under intense investigation as the suspect is still on the loose. The Australian Federal Police have conducted raids on Australia's Workers' Union after fears important documents could be destroyed. They are investigating whether donations made to the Get Up were authorised under union rules after the activist groups were asked to detail what funding they received and how it was spent. An emergency rescue was conducted yesterday after two humpback whales were caught in shark nets off the Gold Coast. The SeaWorld rescue team used specially designed knives to cut the rope without injuring the animals. The incident occurred at the tail end of the whale southern migration season, where they venture across the New South Wales border towards Antarctica. A 15-year-old girl survived a terrifying encounter with a great white shark. Sarah Williams was fishing for squid in her kayak with her father when the 5-metre-long shark hit the vessel, knocking her into the water. Her father in the boat nearby came to her rescue. And that is the news for the week. Now back to the studio.
Well, that was a very close call for Sarah.
Definitely a tale to tell the grandkids, I think. Anyway, Sarah, our reporter, not the one that got attacked by a shark, got out and checked out the All the Lovers event at Unibar this week, so have a look at this.
Bands, DJs and good vibes have been put on display at UOW's Unibar to celebrate love and the LGBTQI community. Media company Vice, musicians Pals and Wollongong's Strawberry Vision and UOW Unibar have teamed up to throw a party to give you a break from the nonsense, bigotry and hate surrounding the equal marriage survey and debate.
We've thrown parties in Hobart, Adelaide, Brisbane and now Wollongong.
With the nationwide debate still in full swing, Vice's Gemma Cole thinks that the LGBTQI community is in desperate need of a rest.
The Yes campaign, as important and vital it is, it's super painful and it's this constant reminder. So we sort of wanted to throw a party to celebrate and support queer community.
And what better way to take a break from the politics and show support for the LGBTQI community than to throw an all-inclusive party right here on the UOW campus.
Lisa McPhee from UOW's Ally Network is excited to see more events like this come to UOW.
Anything that gives a minority group a break from hate and bigotry is worthwhile in any case.
And Vice hasn't forgotten about the young LGBTQI community that won't get their say in the postal vote. And that's why all the donations from the event are going to -18 and Camp Out to organisations that help support young LGBTQI Australians. Sarah Gore, UOW TV Multimedia.
Looks like a great event for everybody to sort of take a step back from campaigning and just relax and enjoy themselves. So.
Well, I've also heard that you've been busy this week.
Yes, as many of you may know, I've been running perpetually late for everything this session, and I'm sick of it by the end of the session, so I wanted to try and find better ways for me to park, so I thought I would just share some of these with you, the audience. So take a look at this.
Oh, hello there. I'm Brad Sullivan, and like you, I know that parking at UOW can be a real pain in the ass. But if there's something I know, it's fitting large objects like a car into very small spaces. So I'm here with a few hot tips to show you how to beat the traffic and get parking at UOW. Try walking to university. Not only is it great for the environment, but let's be honest, you could use the exercise. Due to the increase of the cost of housing, the university's library has become a viable alternative. We spoke to some of the residents of the English literature section about how they were coping. So the next thing you want to do is get carpool. So for that you'll need 2 friends. So Alright, so the next step's a little bit more tricky, but what I will need you to do is get yourself the blood of a virgin. So fortunately for me, I am able to use my own blood, but if you can't find the blood of a virgin, they do have it on sale at Kmart. I think it's like $10 for like 5 liters or something like that. So I definitely recommend going and checking that out. The next thing you'll need to do is go and speak to your local council's wizard to get you a trans-dimensional license. They cost about $15.80, so just got to be mindful of that as well. Alright, looks like the void portal is just about done, so I'm just about to dive in and we'll follow the next couple of steps. Whoa! Once you arrive in the Underverse, you'll need to look for 2 friendly ghouls named Terry and Jerry. Now, the Underverse is full of many scary beings, so you have to be extra careful, right? And if you see the elder ones, don't look them in the eye. You will go insane. That's very important to remember for this step. Okay, follow me. Hello? Hello, Terry and Jerry? Oh, is that you, Terry and Jerry? I need carpool. Terry and Jerry will be happy to give you carpool so long as you let them control the music. Okay, this is also very important. I don't care if you want to listen to Madonna or Beyonce, just let them listen to whatever, okay? It's very crucial. Yeah, you guys can bring your iPod, bring your whatever, because I got a cassette player, it'll be great. So you guys come along. Alright, how do I get out of here? Now just keep in mind, by letting ghouls inhabit your car, that may affect the resale value in the longer term, so that's just something to be mindful of. But hopefully these guys will get you into carpool. But the good thing is, once you're here, you can just stay here. And if you can't find parking, maybe the best option is to stay at home, never follow any of your dreams, and never achieve anything, and die alone. Because isn't that the millennial dream? I've been Brad Sullivan. This has been Parking Tips.
Well, you definitely had some great tips.
Thank you. Up next in the studio we have Emily Coleman, who's the president of the UOW Cosplay Society, and she's going to be talking to us in just a sec. Now, we're joined in the studio live here with Emily Coleman. How are you today, Emily?
I'm great, how are you?
Now, Emily's the president of the UOW Cosplay Society, and you've just won the Best New Clubs Award. So did you want to talk a little bit about how the club sort of came about?
So we've essentially been running through the Video Game Association ever since I got in first year. There was absolutely no cosplay, and I went up to the tent and they were like, do you want to run an event for us? And I was like, okay. And for 2 years I'd been running cosplay out of that. And a week this year I finally actually put out a sign-out sheet for cosplayers alone, and we got about 30 to 40 sign-ups, and I was like, well, we've got enough to actually create a club. So we had our AGM and elected in all our executives, and it's gone really well. We've gone from having 2 or so active people coming to workshops to we have our awards night coming up, just our own awards night, and there's about 30 people coming, so it's nice.
So what do you do as part of the club? It's like the activities that you guys do.
Mostly we run workshops. Sometimes they're bring your own like DIY sort of stuff where people bring along some armor and make foam armor or sew costumes or something like that. But we also have
designed sort of workshops where we'll get in someone who's really good at sewing, or someone who we had a drag queen come in and do drag makeup for us, and we do those sort of designed workshops. We do meetups at conventions as well. O Week and Clubs Day, we run a maid cafe as sort of a fundraiser for the club, and yeah, I think that's... Also, we do Game Fest, and the end of 2018 we're planning to run our own convention as well.
Okay, so for the the viewers at home, what can you sort of briefly sort of surmise what sort of goes into cosplay?
So cosplay is essentially making any costume that you want. It can be from pop culture like Marvel, DC, all that sort of stuff. You can do video games, you can do anime, people do Rick and Morty, all that sort of stuff. And it's essentially, you can create, you can buy, you can alter costumes however you want. You put on makeup or you don't put on makeup, whatever you want. It's essentially Halloween all year round is the best way to describe cosplay.
Okay.
So how can people get involved if they want to join?
Usually what I've had is people just message me and they say, I want to get into cosplay, but I don't really know how to do it. I don't know how to sew. And I always say to them to tell me what they enjoy doing. Do you like anime? Do you like video games? Are you looking at a certain character? And I'll give them guidance, or they can just post in the club. We just have a group that everyone joins, and you just post in there asking, how do I get started? Does anybody have a sewing machine I can borrow? And people come along to the workshops, and we essentially guide them on like the process of even just starting a cosplay, and help them out as to teach them how to do all this different stuff, which people think it's honestly not as hard as people think it is.
Have you got your Halloween costume sorted out for this year?
We're actually making our awards night, because Halloween is in the middle of exam period for the fun reasons that they make that. And so we're actually making our awards night this Friday. That's Halloween, so everyone's dressing up. I'm going for Jigsaw, because it's possibly the most horrifying character that I've ever encountered, and so it's like, why not be the thing that I hate the most in the world?
Very good. Thank you for coming in, and we wish you all the best with the club, and hopefully it can thrive and become a lot bigger in the coming years. It'll be good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Now, as always, our reporter Stuart has been out and about, and he's put together a video package, and we haven't seen this, so we're very excited to see what it is.
Hey, it's Stuart here, and unfortunately it's the last TBA of the semester. But since that's the case, no need to worry, as I'm about to give you an exclusive look behind the laughter. Okay, so right now, it's the night before TBA goes to air, and as you see, I've broken into the studio to bring you the latest segment, How to Host TBA. Finally, I'm in the chair. Despite appearances that all the hosts do is sit there and chat to each other, whilst all the other segment workers have worked tirelessly to get their pieces in, hosting a web show is more difficult than it appears. Any good show needs an opening, and well, Brad and Kate do one every week, so let's see how it's done. Welcome to TBA, I'm Brad. And I'm Caitlin. This week on TBA. Then it's straight to news of the week. And after that, Brad and Caitlin struggle to get their way to the next segment about cutlery after just coming out of a story about drowning. Now to something that will always stay dry, reusable cutlery. Over to you, Saskia. After a segment or two, starring yours truly, we go to our special guest of the week, which is usually either someone from a club or society, a wrestler, or someone with a random link to a movie you've never heard of. Let's see who the guys have got in this week. Thanks, Riley, for that exciting segment on chest hair grooming. I'm sure I'll be able to use it one day too. Now to our special guest, Peculiar Pete, who was the props assistant in the latest movie, On the Way to the Outback, the sequel. And they always ask the questions you're dying to hear. So, Pete, Where did you get the inspiration to use guns in the opening fight scene? Now the show has just about wrapped up. It's time for our hosts to say goodbye. It's been a pleasure being with you this week. I'm Caitlin. I'm Brad. And this has been TBA.
Pretty big words for a man with a mouthful of teeth. Anyway.
Well, now to the girls who have been consistent throughout this whole season. Here's food for thought.
Hey guys, welcome to the 17th episode of Food for Thought. This is the segment where we show you how to cook nutritious and cheap foods. Yeah, and today we're going to show you how to make banana ice cream. And we're adding a little bit of a kick today by adding vanilla essence, but look, you can always add anything to it. If you want to make chocolate and ice cream, you can just add cacao or any other flavoring of your choice. Yeah, so obviously all you need is frozen bananas and vanilla. Or we've chosen to use vanilla, you can just stick with frozen bananas. And you can also add, if you wanted to make a strawberry, you can also add frozen fruits like berries or mango. There's so many combinations. And how you make it, you just chuck your frozen bananas into a blender or food processor and blend. Just make sure that your blender is equipped for frozen foods, because I've done that before and I've broken my blender, so you definitely want to use a food processor, and if you are going to use a blender, use a high processed, high powered blender. Don't break your blender. And then you just add your vanilla essence, and you mix it all together, and that's it. Our vanilla and ice cream, and we have our chocolate and ice cream as well. It's time to try it, and it's good because it's coming up to hot oils. That's good. Thanks for joining us today, and we hope you liked today's recipe. Yeah, join us next time, which will actually be next year, for more nutritious and cheap meals. And we hope you enjoy this year's worth of cooking segments. Yeah, and good luck with your exams. That's right.
That's an interesting take on ice cream.
Like my grandpa always says, you got to break a couple of bananas to make ice cream. So, anyway, up next we have the Muse.
Welcome back to the Muse. With the session wrapping up, our little city is providing some solid ways to celebrate. With big names and beloved locals hitting the stages, do yourself a favour and give your ears and toes some good vibrations. Tonight, Strawberry Boogie is putting on a mean show, with the now well-famed Sasquatch on stage. The 9-piece Melbourne band came onto our radars in 2012 with their acclaimed single Your Love. The band have gone on to create some more beautiful soul-bopping tunes, giving you the perfect way to end your session. With nocturnal tapes and some of our classic Wollongong favourites also gracing the stage, it's set to be a bloody top night. And Unibar is hosting the unapologetic Alex the Astronaut. An up-and-coming queen of ballads, this space-soaring musician has been getting some big plays on Triple J and gave a brilliant performance at Sydney's Marriage Equality March. If you're still able to nab some tickets, head along to catch her on Friday night. If tickets have escaped you, or if you're wanting more of a folky night, Alice Terry will be grooving at Howling Wolf on Friday. Described as a woman who sounds like she's had 3 husbands and killed them all, she absolutely hits those bluesy vibes straight on the head. And Saturday, the Aussie hip-hop legend Draft is hitting the stage at Unibar. And what a way to get hyped for exams, right? But really, touring his album 7 Mirrors, there is no doubt his set will hit peak energy. And North Gong Hotel is producing Sunday sessions this week with Sydney duo Mezco. Now Laura Bailey and Kit Harley are playing the darker side of techno pop, with Richard Kingsmill even attributing their single Trust as Ladytron vibes but dirtier. Backed up with Eliza and the Delusionals, Sunday sessions this week are sure to whisk you away and help you to forget about those impending exams. And Hump Day next week, you can catch Sydney rock band Tornado Live. Having released their debut album back in 2011, These guys have been killing it on the scene with a Paramore-esque grunge to their sound. And Rad has you sorted for those early week blues. The 4 boys from Paper Lions have hitched their way all the way from Canada and will be setting the stage swaying on Tuesday. With over 1 million views for their song Travelling on Spotify, these Canadian favourites will be a shame to miss. Wednesday night, Adelaide Hayley Main is blessing us with haunting vocals straight off the back of her European tour. Giving off a darker sounding Marina and the Diamonds vibe, the solo artist will give you goosebumps. And even though the semester is wrapping up, in no way does that mean the gigs in Wollongong are taking any kind of hiatus. With Australian Music Month kicking off in November, be sure to keep your eyes open for San Cisco, The Belligerents, Bag Raiders, Skeggs, British India, Winston Surfshirt and heaps more during the summer break. Make sure to give your brain some fun and get out and catch some of these amazing artists. Stay tuned for any sneaky happenings in the Muse this summer.
Some great gigs to wrap up the session.
Absolutely. Do you mind if I go on a little tangent here, Kate?
Go for gold.
I just want to say, as the session's wrapping up and as we sort of get into this period of very intense sort of politics and society and all that sort of stuff, I just want to remind everybody that we're all human beings stuck on a unimaginably large rock floating through a cold, loveless void. So I just want to remind everybody that we're still people and just be nice to each other, because that's all we can ask for, you know?
Truly inspiring.
Thank you.
Well, that brings us to the end of our show.
And to the end of this session.
Yes. Hopefully we'll see you guys next year. But if not, have a safe holiday. Bye.
Farewell.